Welcome to my channel, Mike Rondo here, and tonight's video is going to be about this, Eric Hoffer's The True Believer. But before we get into that, a few things I gotta talk about. Before I came out here, for some reason I might get some sinus pressure and stuffed up for some reason. So if I'm sniffly and sounding a little weird or funny than I normally do, it's because of that. So also, tonight I'm smoking in my Gentleman Caller, and I'm smoking Epiphany tonight. Of course, I'm using the world famous hot dog Zippo, and I put a new filter in in this. I'm using the White Elephant 6mm filters, and it's going pretty good, which is a miracle for me. So, you know, that's a good thing, because I've been having a hard time initially getting a good draw, but it's working out now. On top of that, last night, after I finished this and I was smoking my pipe, enjoying that and finishing that up, the weirdest thing happened. I heard this noise outside. I'm like, what is that? Is that a cat? Is that a skunk? Or, well, it couldn't have been a skunk because I couldn't smell anything. Like, it was a raccoon. So I go outside and look out the door, and I see like this little head. I'm like, is that a squirrel at this time of night? And oops, sorry. I hit the microphone. So I look in between the bushes, and sure enough, what do I see? I don't know if I got the picture. Let me see if I got the picture. What do I see? I see a possum. No, I don't have him here. I have him on my Instagram. Hold on, let me go to my Instagram. So, as you can see, not that you can see, there's like a little red circle. There was a head there, and then there's a fuzzy picture of it. I don't know if you can see it there, but his little head was popping out there. So it was a little possum. I would say a couple of months old, maybe, well, no, probably a year or so. We'll leave it at that. 6 months to a year, maybe a little bit more, but that's about it. Not too much than that. And I just had a nice little conversation with him. And the other good news is I saw the rabbit earlier in the night, and I meant to mention that. Now, if you'd watch it, now some of you are new to my channel, whether you subscribe or you check my channel out every now and then, if you watch some of my early videos, I have a family of rabbits that's kind of always around. So, but anyway, it's like the wild animal park around here. So, you know, that's that. Let's get into the book. Epiphany is pretty good, by the way. I like it. And I thought it was fitting because we're finally going to talk about this. And this is a very fascinating book that was written in 1951, I believe it was. Early 50s. Originally. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, 1951. Originally. And it's fascinating to see. It's kind of like, for those of us that grew up, especially you older gentlemen who grew up in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and even me in the late 70s and 80s, at the very end of the 80s with the Cold War and everything, because he talks about that. So it's kind of like a bit of a time warp, or going back in time and remember these historical events and figures and stuff. And basically what the book is about is thoughts on the nature of mass movement. So, and he's kind of objective. He's not really saying, he doesn't go on one side or the other. He just gives his reasons for like why nationalism, Nazism, communism, every kind of ism under the sun, religious zealots and stuff, and all that, why that all came to be, or how it comes to be. And I touched on this. I'm not going to get into the details. I'm just kind of giving you my thoughts on the interesting aspect, especially in this year, 2020, with you see mass movements in the political spectrum. I'm not going to name them. You know who they are. On both sides, you know, there's and now you read this and you see why this is all happening, which is fascinating to me. It's crazy because I'm always in the middle of the road, kind of take myself out of the, as I said before when I was talking about the groupthink video I did. I've always been on the fringe of, like, whenever I get involved in a community or something, I'm always on the fringe. I'll take several steps in, but then I kind of back out, or I just stay within, you know, range, so to speak. I don't fully commit to those things. That's just me. I'm not saying it's a bad thing if you know, into a community and all that other stuff, but and he doesn't say, like I said, he doesn't say, oh, this is bad, yada yada yada. He just says, well, this is why this person, and this is how this happens, whether it's this, that, or the other. Like I said, with all the isms or whatever you want to pick. So it's very fascinating to see it when you read this. And I got to finish this book here. I'm kind of halfway through. I just haven't got to it. I got to finish this because in our political season, and with people getting very political these days, it's kind of like I like to get an understanding of human nature. It's kind of, well, it's my human nature. So I always like to study the reasons why people do the things they do or why they believe the things they believe. I've always been that way. It's why serial killers fascinate me, criminals and such, and even myself, why I do the things I do. I've always been trying to figure out why I do this crazy thing or that crazy thing, or why I made this decision, or so forth. So I'm always constantly evaluating myself and the world around me. I'm a little stuffy here. Ooh, damn allergies. I don't know what happened here. It's going to be the ragweed again. I was fine. Then all of a sudden, this happens. But when you read this, you kind of feel like in the last 15 years, go 15 years or so, like we were headed this way with the political climate we were, and then that, how should I say, so YouTube doesn't, not that I'm monetized or anything like that, or I just don't want to get a strike against me, the whole global thing that we're going through. How's that? And you know what that is. It's the thing that makes us put those little funny diapers on our face. It seems like that's the straw that broke the camel's back with what I've said before with boredom, right? I've mentioned this in that video, but it's more than that, because he goes into several groups of people or types of people that are susceptible to getting involved in mass movements, and one of them is the frustrated, which a lot of people are right now. As I said, bored. He mentions boredom, and when I read that, I was like, "Holy crap! I've been saying this for a long, long time." And what was the other one I had here? What was the other? I have it written down. Meaninglessness. In this, as I've mentioned in that video too, is that a lot of us, with everything that we've got digitally and everything at our fingertips, and we live in relative comfort compared to everybody else in previous generations in history, throughout history. If you look back, we're a very relatively peaceful, I know it doesn't seem that, and easy way of living compared to the past, way in the past. You know, like the struggle isn't as great as it was. Don't get me wrong, there's still struggle and all that stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, when you compare this time frame we're living in with someone from 100, 200 years ago, or well beyond that, we live in a very comfortable age, so to speak. And back then, you didn't have time to think about the meaning of life all that much. Oh yeah, we had the philosophers and stuff, but for the most part, everyone had to live and do their thing and survive. But as we progress, we get comfortable and stuff, and we have leisure time, right? As my buddy Seneca always says, leisure. We're free to kind of think about things. So we got to that point, and I think we have so much leisure time, we don't have the time to just live day to day in a sense of like, well, maybe I'm wrong on this, because people do live day to day, paycheck to paycheck and stuff. So maybe I'm wrong on this, but I guess when people are out of work like they are now, you get frustrated, you get bored, and you get the sense of, well, what the hell is the meaning of life? I think we all feel that at some point in this modern age with all this digital stuff and all this scientific knowledge that we have, and with religion, it still plays an important part, but it kind of not like it's been in the past, right? And people have a different interpretation of religion now, So I don't know. It's just a fascinating thing, and I just see those things as people feeling those three things. And don't get me wrong, this is just my thoughts on this. I could be completely wrong. You can disagree with me, and I look forward to you telling me why, so maybe I can learn and think of things in a different light. So, but I think mostly boredom and frustration with not being able to go out, do our whatever we would normally do, not having our job, having that purpose of getting up, going, doing our thing, and then, but then you got other people that do get up every day, go to work, sit in a cubicle for 8 hours, 9 hours, or 14 hours, or whatever hours, and you're like, there's got to be more to life than this, right? So it's a combination of those things. And I'm not sure I explained it exactly well, but kind of where I was going with this. But in any case, it's a very interesting read, and I suggest reading it now. This is like the perfect time to read this book, considering all that's going on politically, economically, global situation that we got going on, and even countries vying for power in the world, like us, China, Russia, the UK, everybody just vying for power, India. And such. So it's a fascinating read, and what I love about Mr. Hoffer here is he was just a regular guy and could just think these things through. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry for hitting the mic too. That was a combination of me having a sinus thing and I was swallowing while I was smoking. Whoa. Ooh, that wasn't good. I don't recommend. Ooh, I feel the burn on that one. I don't recommend you do that. That is like twice I've hit my mic on you. Sorry about that. Anyway, I apologize. Now I wish I had I might have to do this. This might have to be an emergency swig. There we go. I take the burn from the smoke, but the burn from the monkey shoulder whiskey or scotch, I should say. But anyway, that was tough. I had like a sinus thing here, and I was trying to pull back the nasal, whatever you want to call it, the drip or whatever, and you know how we do that, and I was in the middle of smoking, and I don't know why I'm describing this to you guys. This is disgusting. Anyway, back to the book. Now, see, I could edit this out, but I don't edit. I just shoot the shit straight. But anyway, I think I'm going to end this anyway because, well, my allergies are bothering me. And that was pretty much all I had to say about this, with this book. Eric Hoffer is a very interesting philosopher and thinker. Kind of a mystery too. There's not a lot of detail on his upbringing and background. There's some stuff that's said, but a lot of people dispute that. So he's an interesting character. And I love that he's like this regular guy, longshoreman, working his job. And while he's doing it, and I do this, and maybe some of you do this, my pipe smoker friends, you got to be doing this, where you're doing what you do during your working day, and you just think of these things about life and stuff. And he kind of formulated some interesting things. This is the second book I read by him. I'm probably going to read, and I keep hitting my mic, I'm an idiot, sorry. And I'm going to probably read some more. He's got a handful more that I'm going to read. But definitely check this out and I say right now, get this book right now, go on Amazon. I'll even leave a link and click on it and get the book, read the book. And when you see everything that's going on around now, you'll be amazed. He wrote this in 1951. Well, he published it in 1951. And you'll see all this going around, and you'll be like, oh, that makes sense why that happens and why these people believe that. Now, there's more groups of people. He mentions the poor, but a degree to poor, the poor people getting involved in mass movements. The absolute poor who he seems to, the way he formulated it, and I'm doing a horrible job of explaining it, is like that they're very carefree and they're happy with what they got for the most part, because they don't have the worries or pressures, or I don't know. The way he explains it, it makes much more sense. So please read it. Don't listen to me on that part. But anyway, that's all I get to say tonight. I'm going to finish my pipe, go upstairs, relax, and take something for these allergies because it's causing problems now. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a morning coffee. There's a good chance of that. Probably be doing 2 videos tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for tuning in.